Two significant weather systems are demanding attention across northern Australia right now. Tropical Cyclone Luana is making landfall on the Dampier Peninsula in the Kimberley, and a tropical low is bringing heavy rainfall concerns to northern Queensland. Both systems present serious challenges for the weekend ahead. Let us start with the most immediate threat. Tropical Cyclone Luana is crossing the coast right now along the northern edges of the Dampier Peninsula in Western Australia Kimberley region. If you're in this area, you're already experiencing deteriorating conditions. This system has been undergoing rapid intensification. That is a meteorological term meaning the storm is strengthening quickly, gaining wind speed faster than normal. Current maximum winds are sitting around 110 kilometres per hour. But here is the concern. The worst part of this cyclone, the back end on the western and northern side, is positioned over water. That gives it extra time to intensify before the full system moves inland. In the next hour or two, we could see wind speeds jump another 15 to 30 kilometres per hour. That might not sound like much, but it's the difference between minor concerns and genuine damage potential. We're looking at maximum winds potentially reaching 130 to 140 kilometres per hour along parts of the Dampier Peninsula. 120 kilometres per hour winds are manageable for this part of the Kimberley. Communities up here are built for cyclones. But 140 can bring down trees, damage property and create dangerous conditions. The Bureau of Meteorology has a tropical cyclone warning in place from south of Broome through Derby and north to about Cygnet Bay. Between Broome and Derby, expect winds between 90 to 110 kilometres per hour. For the remainder of the Dampier Peninsula, including Beagle Bay, Lombardina and Cape Levesque, winds between 110 to 130 kilometres per hour are forecast. In some spots, particularly between Beagle Bay and Lombardina, and potentially as far north as Cooljuman, wind gusts could reach 140 kilometres per hour. If you are in these areas, do not venture outside. If conditions suddenly go calm, that might be the eye of the cyclone passing over. Do not leave shelter until the all clear has been given. Category 2 status sits in an ugly middle ground. Category 1 systems are generally of little concern to northern Australia. We're used to them. But Category 2 is where things start becoming serious. It's not severe tropical cyclone territory, that S Category 3 and above, but a Category 2 can range from relatively minor to significant depending on exactly where it impacts. This one is teetering on that edge. So the recommendation is clear. Stay inside, stay out of harm's way, power lines will come down, trees will come down, there will be damage scattered through the area. Write the rest of today off. Assess everything tomorrow morning when it says safe. The cyclone will move further inland past Derby later tonight, then into the southern Kimberley early tomorrow morning. By then we should have a clearer picture of the impact. Rainfall is going to be substantial. The northwestern Kimberley coast can expect falls between 150 to 300 millimetres over the next couple of days. Some locations could see up to 350 millimetres, particularly if the more aggressive forecast models verify. The Access model is showing some very healthy totals. This is a sparsely populated stretch of Western Australia, so the rainfall won't impact large population centres. Broome, for comparison, is going to be much drier. Broome will likely struggle to reach triple figures from this system, but here S, where it gets more complicated. As Luana weakens and moves inland, it is going to track through remote parts of interior Western Australia, mainly affecting Indigenous communities. The remnant moisture will continue delivering significant rainfall through Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Widespread falls of 100 to 200 millimetres are expected right down to the Nullarbor, with isolated totals reaching 250 millimetres. For some areas, particularly the further south you get near the Nullarbor and inland from there near the rail line, this could represent nearly a year's worth of rainfall. Think back to early 2024. Remember how badly some of these areas coped with heavy rain. We're looking at a somewhat similar situation, though with slightly less rainfall this time. A flood warning is in place for the entirety of the Kimberley region. A flood watch has been issued for parts of the northern Pilbara as the tropical cyclone remnant energy tracks south through the week. If you're travelling along the Nullarbor or between Laverton out to Giles, including Warburton, roads are likely to be cut for an extended period. The Great Central Road will be affected, the Gunbarrel Highway will be affected. If you're planning to travel between Laverton and Central Australia, either get to your destination before this hits or wait it out. You want to be on one side of this rainfall or the other, not caught in the middle. While Tropical Cyclone Luana dominates the west, Northern Queensland is dealing with its own significant weather system. Tropical low 18U is bringing heavy rainfall concerns over the next few days. Right now across far north Queensland, conditions are hot and humid. Cairns has been copping surprising wind gusts in the rain bands. This is typical wet season weather, but the rainfall totals in the next few days are going to be above average. This tropical low is currently positioned in the Coral Sea. It is forecast to hug the Cape York coastline, possibly diving inland tomorrow, then re-emerging on Monday. There's an outside chance this system intensifies to cyclone strength, but it's not a high probability given the amount of land interaction expected. Showers and thunderstorms are the main threat, and heavy falls are expected through northwestern Queensland, particularly along the Gulf Coast. Between Normanton and Kawanyama, we're re-looking at some very heavy totals. The Daintree rainforest will also see moderate to heavy falls through the remainder of this weekend, particularly tonight and into tomorrow. Offshore from the Coral Sea coast, heavy rain is developing. A convergence zone or two is likely to form, and that S showing up on the convective forecast modelling. The access model is indicating some decent rainfall accumulations, but it is going to be hit or miss. Some places will receive significant totals, others will miss out almost completely. Generally speaking, rainfall will be heavier the further north you go. The Daintree has a better chance of picking up those heavier falls. Along the Cassowary coast, scattered accumulations of 100, 150 or 200 millimetres are possible throughout the remainder of the weekend. The chance increases from about 15% for the coast to about 25% for the Daintree rainforest. There is a convergence zone developing offshore that is quite intriguing. Around the Cardwell or Hinchinbrook area, you can already see winds coming together on the latest imagery. This is creating a band of very heavy rainfall that is slowly tracking towards the Queensland coast. It is directly associated with tropical low 17U. These showers and thunderstorms are beginning to push closer to the far north Queensland coast. There's a chance of heavy falls tonight around Cardwell, through the lower Herbert and potentially as far north as Innisfail. The chances aren't great, but it is worth mentioning as a possibility. It is an outside chance. Don't be surprised if you pick up nothing. Also, don't be surprised if you pick up 250 millimetres. That is the nature of rainfall at this time of year in far north Queensland. It is unpredictable, it is intense, and it can vary dramatically over short distances. Through tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, the rainfall actually becomes a bit heavier further south. More moderate falls are expected into the Cassowary coast as opposed to the Daintree. We'll also see widespread shower and thunderstorm activity across northwestern Queensland. This is where we need to talk about flooding concerns. Areas that have been significantly impacted by floods recently may see more flooding. Around Boxing Day and through to New Year S, northwestern Queensland copped a battering. Water levels are still elevated, roads are still cut. Some areas have been underwater for the better part of a month. Right now, conditions are slowly improving. The water is receding, but there's still a massive amount of water around. It's not going to take much additional rainfall to cause serious problems again. We're not expecting the severity of flooding seen around Boxing Day, but minor to moderate riverine flooding is possible. For areas including Corumba, Burketown, Normanton, Croydon, Gregory, down to about Dajara, Julia Creek and Cloncurry, there is significant rainfall potential. 50 to 75 millimetres are possible, with totals up to 150 millimetres depending on which thunderstorms track through. If you live in these areas, it's a good idea to make preparations ahead of what could be more significant flooding. Check your emergency supplies, know your evacuation routes, monitor the Bureau of Meteorology warnings. A further 100 millimetres in a short period could cause big problems, particularly if it comes down in one afternoon. By Wednesday, the rainfall begins to ease as the low pressure system becomes more monsoon-like. Showers and thunderstorms will continue here and there, but through Wednesday and Thursday, totals really start to back down. That's good news. These areas desperately need the rainfall to ease and water levels to finally recede properly. There is still a signal on the long-range models out in the Coral Sea for early to mid-February. This has been showing up for several days now. It's worth monitoring, but we don't have enough detail yet to make specific forecasts. There is a possibility of another system developing that could affect Queensland in the second week of February. More information should become available in the first few days of February, and we'll provide updates as the situation develops. Now, while the tropics are active, the south is dealing with extreme heat. South Australia is copping it today. Multiple locations are pushing into the high 40s. Tarcoola has already hit 48 degrees. and the temperature was still climbing when that observation was taken. If you're in southeastern Australia, stay cool and stay hydrated. This is serious heat. Check on elderly neighbours, limit outdoor activity during the hottest part of the day. Make sure pets and livestock have access to water and shade. If you're reworking outside, take regular breaks in the shade and drink water before you feel thirsty. The contrast across the country right now is remarkable. Darwin S sitting at around 35 degrees with high humidity, typical for the build-up. Brisbane S been warm and sticky all week. Meanwhile, parts of Tasmania saw frost this morning with temperatures dropping below zero overnight. That S, the nature of Australia in late January. For those in the Kimberley dealing with tropical cyclone Luana, this is the critical period. The next 12 hours will be the worst. Hunker down, stay inside, do not venture out, even if it goes calm. The eye of a cyclone can create a false sense that the storm has passed. The back half can be just as severe as the front. Make sure you have torches with fresh batteries in case power goes out. Fill containers with water before you lose pressure. Charge mobile phones and devices now. Keep your radio handy for updates from the Bureau of Meteorology and Emergency Services. If you're in a caravan or temporary structure, you should have relocated to solid shelter already. If you haven't, do not attempt to move now. Find the strongest room in your current location, usually an interior room or bathroom, and shelter there. Northern Queensland, the rainfall over the next few days is going to be significant in spots. If you are in areas that flooded recently, pay close attention to warnings. Don't drive through floodwater, ever. If it is flooded, forget it. That's not just a slogan, it is a life-saving principle. 6 inches of fast-moving water can knock you off your feet. 12 inches can move a small car. 2 feet can sweep away most vehicles, including four-wheel drives. Know where your important documents are. Have an emergency kit ready with essentials, water, non-perishable food, first aid supplies, medications, important documents in waterproof bags. Have a battery-powered or hand-crank radio. Keep some cash on hand in case EFTPOS systems go down. For those watching from other parts of Australia, you might be wondering why we're spending so much time on these systems. Tropical cyclones and tropical lows are part of life in northern Australia from November through April. Most pass without major incident, but when they do cause problems, they can be serious. Cyclone Tracy back in Christmas '74 remains the benchmark for cyclone impact in Australia. Winds up to 217 kilometres per hour destroyed Darwin. 71 people died. That event shaped how we build, how we prepare, and how we respond to tropical cyclones. Luana 1T reached Tracy S intensity, and the Dampier Peninsula is far less populated than Darwin was in '74, but the principles remain the same. Respect the storm, take warnings seriously, stay informed, stay safe. The Bureau of Meteorology does an excellent job with tropical cyclone forecasting. The warning systems work. The challenge is that cyclones can intensify rapidly and forecasts can change quickly. What looks like a minor system in the morning can become a serious threat by afternoon. That's why we monitor these systems closely. That's why we provide detailed updates. And that's why, if you were in a warning area, you need to act on the advice from emergency services and the Bureau. Looking ahead to next week, the remnant moisture from Luana will continue affecting inland Western Australia. Roads will remain cut. Flooding will continue. This will be a slow-moving impact that lasts well into next week. If you're replanning travel in remote Western Australia, check Main Roads WA for updates and be prepared for long delays or detours. In Queensland, once the current tropical low moves through, there is a brief window of more typical monsoon activity before that next potential system in early February. Use that time to prepare if you are in cyclone-prone areas. Check your cyclone kit, review your household plan, make sure everyone in the family knows what to do. For rural Queensland, particularly cattle stations and remote properties, this wet season has been challenging. The flooding around New Year S cut access to many properties. Stock losses occurred, infrastructure damage was significant. More rain on already saturated ground is a genuine concern. Monitor Bureau warnings and local river height information closely. This is the reality of Australia's wet season. The north gets the majority of its annual rainfall in these few months. It is essential for filling water storages, sustaining agriculture and maintaining river systems. But it comes with risks: flooding, tropical cyclones, road closures, isolation. Communities in northern Australia are resilient. They re-experience with these conditions. They prepare, they help each other, they get through it. But that doesn't mean these events should be taken lightly. As we head through the weekend, the key points to remember: Tropical Cyclone Luana is making landfall now on the Dampier Peninsula, with winds up to 140 kilometres per hour in the strongest gusts. If you are in the warning area, stay inside until the all clear is given. Heavy rainfall will affect the Kimberley and track into inland WA through the week ahead. In northern Queensland, tropical low 18U will bring heavy rainfall to parts of Far North Queensland and northwestern Queensland through Monday and Tuesday. Areas already affected by recent flooding are at risk of more inundation. Be prepared. Extreme heat continues across South Australia and parts of inland southeastern Australia. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and check on vulnerable people in your community. The tropics will remain active through the coming weeks. Cyclone season runs through to April, with February and March historically the most active months. Stay informed. Monitor Bureau of Meteorology warnings. Have a plan for your household. For those in affected areas, stay safe, look after each other, and remember that these conditions, while challenging, are temporary. The storms pass, the floodwaters recede, communities recover. That's the situation as it stands for Saturday, the 24th of January. Check the Bureau of Meteorology website for the latest warnings and forecasts. Emergency service websites will have the most current information on road closures and local impacts. Stay tuned to ABC Local Radio for ongoing updates in affected areas. Stay safe out there, look after yourselves